So looks like we're officially recording. And I'll just say that this is the Heal Well focus team. And today is March 5th. And we're so happy to have Julia with us today to give a presentation about the caring majority. Do you want to take it away or yeah?
Sure, why not? Well, I feel like most of you already know a lot about us, except for you, Erin. So I'm Julia Solo. I'm the lead Hudson Valley organizer with an organization called Hand in Hand, which is a sister organization to the National Domestic Workers Alliance. And we have really been one of the driving forces in New York to push for investment in home care, the home care workforce. The movement that we're part of is called the New York Caring Majority. I know there's lots of names going on. New York Caring Majority, that's the umbrella that lots of organizations are coming together under. And I kind of love thinking of ourselves as part of a caring majority. You know, we are really a movement of seniors, people with disabilities, home care workers, and family caregivers. And we are working on, you know, justice in long-term care, and building a system that supports people to age in place in their own communities where they want to be, and support the workers and the caregivers who make that possible. And so I'm gonna share, I know probably most of you have seen it, but we made, our leaders in the Hudson Valley made a beautiful short film about their experience as home care workers, as people who need home care, their experience during this pandemic, and the real crisis that we're facing in home care. So I'm going to share that because it shows the big picture in a way that I could never just explain. So I'm going to share this short video with you all.
Hello?
I have no idea what I would do without my home care worker. I feel that they deserve more money because the pay is little and he does so much.
Benefits are basically non-existent unless I want to spend basically my whole paycheck. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to live.
And it feels very unfair that people who work with me are paid poorly by the state because I would never dream of paying them as badly.
I have been in home care for the past 16 years, but my pay hasn't increased at all.
I am so demoralized by Governor Cuomo's attack on home care funding. It feels like he's trying to, I don't know, wring water from a stone.
Home care is essential, especially being able to trust the person that comes into your home instead of going to a nursing home.
I go from rage to despair, always worrying that I'm going to be forced into an institution so many years after social workers fought for me to live outside in society.
I don't think Governor Cuomo would go into a nursing home now if he had to, or he would send his mother there if she needed it. Nobody wants to.
We have seen the way you protect and nurture the most at risk in the midst of this pandemic. How you rise to make sure elders and people with disabilities are cared for.
It's important for me to have some sort of sense of independence that I can live in my own home and direct my own household and be in the community as opposed to being locked up in a facility.
And they say to us, if you have your flu shot, you don't need a mask. They care about us covering the shift, but they don't care about our health.
What would happen if you got coronavirus?
I would probably cry. What if somebody in my family, or if I do contract it, I'm the only breadwinner in my family, so there's a whole source of income wiped out. I don't know, it's like stepping on eggshells every day.
Y yo pienso que, verdad, deberían de reconocernos un poquito más, porque estamos exponiendo nuestras familias, viniendo a trabajar. Y los beneficios, la verdad, que deberían de ser un poco mejor.
I think my community wants me to stay here in the community too. They've rallied with me and they've written letters for me. And I think this is the town I grew up in. And I think my community is behind me for wanting me to stay here too.
On behalf of all home care workers together in October, we need your help. We need you to look at us. We need you to work with us and hear our cry.
So we're really proud of that. And it's a really, it's really powerful for me because we know these people, like the people in the film are people who are active in our movement. We know their stories and how much they're struggling and how they represent thousands of people really in New York, but also across the country who are dealing with this struggle to get the care that they need, to get the support that they need as caregivers. I wonder if, seeing this stirs up any stories that any of you all have. We like to say everybody has a care story, right? If you're in a room, you can ask, have you ever needed care, been a caregiver, or hired a caregiver? And everybody in the room is like raising their hand by the end. So yeah, I'm curious if anybody wants to share anything about their care story. Aaron, you unmuted, and then Susan.
That's okay, Susan, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
I don't know if Julia knows all my stories, but I was wondering in the short time that we have with her, there are so many actions that she's spearheading that what could I wonder what this group could do to help get the word out and help get, just get the word out of all of the actions that you're doing. I mean,
right.
As far as stories goes, I took care of my mom and her two brothers, and I've been in medicine for a long time, and I've dealt with it forever.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to leave at 12:25. Okay. So sorry about that. Yes. So, Aaron, did you want to share a little something?
Sure. Yeah, that was really moving. I was trying really hard not to cry. But actually one of the people on there I knew. I was like, oh, I know her. So that was really amazing. That kind of made me tear up. But I think I haven't necessarily myself taken care of someone, but I did recently in December lost my grandmother. And she was in a nursing home, and I just saw the barriers that any of us had in the family to be able to visit her. And so it just, she also wasn't able to stay in her house as much as she wanted to. And so she had to go to a nursing home, which was, she did not want to do that. And we wanted to be able to keep her home, especially because she lost her husband. So my Opa, we called her Oma, he's Opa, he passed away. And then very quickly, within less than a month, she had to go to a nursing home because there was no one to take care of her or any funding or anything to kind of keep her home. So she lost everything. And it just was really sad.
Totally. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think, these are such privately held stories for a lot of us. I think that, these are some of the most intimate, vulnerable moments of our lives. And, what we're trying to do at the Caring Majority is bring it into the public and make it a public conversation, because it really should not be so hard for so many of us. We can build a system that supports us to have like vibrant intergenerational communities where people can stay in their communities and don't have to be fighting with insurance companies or, like impoverishing themselves to qualify for Medicaid in order to access long-term care coverage. I mean, this system that we're living in right now, is really unsustainable. So New York Caring Majority, has come together in a time where our population is aging rapidly. New York in particular, I think it's like the 6th most rapidly aging state in the country. Our population is expected to grow by around 1% overall by 2040, but the population over 80 is expected to grow by 42.2% by 2040. And whether we like it or not, we don't like to admit it, but most of us will need some kind of long-term care at some point in our lives, something like 70%. And I think, if you were against going to a nursing home before the pandemic, if you weren't against it before the pandemic, I mean, now with the impact of the pandemic in the nursing homes, nobody wants to end up in a nursing home. People want to stay in their communities, in their own homes, connected to their neighbors and loved ones. And so, and we think that that's possible, but we have tremendous challenges right now. There's the home care workforce is paid just at or just slightly above minimum wage to do really important essential work. In most parts of the state, they're being paid $12.50 an hour. The legally required minimum wage for fast food is going to go up to $15 an hour this year. How are we expecting people to do home care work, which is very difficult work, if they can get so much more working in fast food? And so the New York Caring Majority's most recent push is we've actually introduced legislation called Fair Pay for Home Care. It is legislation and really a budget priority to increase home care worker pay to 150% of the highest minimum wage in every part of the state. So what does that mean? Where home care workers are making $15 an hour, it would go up to $22.50 an hour. This really is like the bare minimum of what is necessary to value this work. And it needs to happen. Like we're asking for a $4 billion a year investment in the home care workforce. And the consequences of us not being able to win it are tremendous. And so we are finding there's a lot of support for this in our legislature. So Senator May, the chair of the Aging Committee, is sponsoring the legislation in the Senate. And Assembly Member Dick Godfrey, the chair of the Health Committee, is the lead sponsor in the Assembly. And we just got the legislation introduced on Wednesday. We're really excited. Our call to action today is to call the leadership of the Senate and the leadership of the Assembly to include fair pay for home care in this year's budget. There are so many ways to take action. I'm going to also drop in the chat a link to our petition. Our petition, we have over 2,000 signatures on our petition already demanding fair pay for home care. And if you get on our petition, then you get all of our other action alerts, whether you like it or not. And so I will put that in the chat as well, and I can send it to you, Emily, so that you can send it out to everybody. So please do sign our petition, and you'll get more action alerts. Today we're doing in-district actions all over the state. They're really small scale, masked outdoor actions, and we're doing more through next week. And so, you know, if you follow us on Facebook, you'll see and be able to sort of signal boost our amazing in-district actions that are happening. We have like 10 happening all over the state, where seniors and people with disabilities and caregivers are rallying with their legislators. You know, we have, so the budget gets finalized by March 15th. If we want to get this into our state budget, time is of the essence to get it in there. And so, you know, even so, I don't know where people are based, but you know, Senator Hinchy has signed on. I think a bunch of us live in her district. Senator Skoufis has signed on. There's a bunch of Hudson Valley legislators who have signed on to this. But, you know, even if they have signed on, we need to call them and let them know, like, thank you. Thank you so much. And like encourage them to continue fighting with us. I have a few minutes to take questions. If anybody has questions.
Yeah, I do. Okay, close. All right. I have one. Which name do we look you up in the Facebook account under?
That was my question.
Which name? New York Caring Majority. I just dropped it in the chat.
Oh, good.
And one thing I wanted to add is, like, if as a committee, you know, Heal Well Kingston wanted to host a larger community forum, you know, the work continues after March 15th. This is probably going to be a lifelong battle, honestly, to get investment in the care that we need. And so, you know, I'm happy to help, you know, if you guys wanted to host, for example, a screening of this beautiful documentary called Care. You know, we can put together a little panel. The Care documentary is a half-hour documentary that I think some of you have seen, that highlights the stories of home care workers and the people that they work with. And it's really powerful. I mean, if you thought that 4-minute video is powerful, it is like, it's another emotional roller coaster, and really helps to spark a conversation. So, you know, there's definitely things that as a committee you all could do if you wanted to take this up, to bring more people into the movement.
How much time before the Senate and the Assembly vote is there to actually contact people and to do actions?
Basically, like, it's this week and next week. We're like, March 15th is when they're gonna like have final, they're called one house budgets. So like the Senate comes up with their version of the budget, the Assembly comes up with their version of the budget, and then everything gets like negotiated. And so we need to get into at least one of them in order to have a prayer of a chance of getting it into the final budget. So really it's pretty urgent to, you know, call that the leadership of the Senate and Assembly, call your own representatives. You know, if you're comfortable showing up to an in-district action, I can share with you. Actually, the ones that are happening in the Hudson Valley are all happening today, so it's a little short notice, but yeah. I think, you know, any way that you want to partner to bring more people into the movement, I'm happy to be a collaborator. And I do have to jump off.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you for your time and for inviting me on.
Thank you so much.
Great to meet you, Erin.
Same here.
All right, I will catch you on the flip side.
Bye.
Good luck today.
Bye.